Hello, this is the Watchdog, and welcome back to Fun with Watches. If watches weren't fun, you'd only need one. Today we're going to review the Pagani Design PD-1639 homage to a Rolex Submariner Hulk. Let's start out with the wrist check. It's Disney Friday, so I got my Invicta Mickey Mouse watch. And Grego's wearing the Corjo Bronze Bay. Although it's not really bronze, it's really stainless steel. Grego said the Mithril has escaped from prison again. Mando was going to go after him, but Grief Karga sent Boba instead. He wanted to put his best foot forward. Here's the watch. Let's go ahead and just put the box away. We don't need the box. This is a jumbo homage because it's a 43mm instead of the Hulk Sub's 40mm size. This is the size of a Rolex Sea Dweller, but the design and style look more like a sub. Pagani Design is calling this their Water Ghost series. If you want a traditional 40mm, they still make the PD-1661. That one has been reviewed to death, so I thought it would be more informative to buy the bigger watch. The watch is 43mm at the bezel, 12.5mm thick, 52.3mm lug to lug, but 56.8 if you count the end links. Has a 21mm lug width and weighs 160 grams with 2 links removed. Has a very nice looking ceramic bezel. It has a nice deep emerald color. It's more emerald than it is green. Then there's the bezel action. I was kind of surprised by the bezel. It's 120 click unidirectional, and it sounds good when you spin it fast. When you spin it slow, it starts to feel really clunky. You can feel these little half clicks, and it gives you the false impression that there might be some back play, but really you're just pulling back when you're on a half click. It's not very reassuring. The action is also fairly light, and I've had many instances where I've knocked the bezel out of alignment just by hitting on things by accident. I've had worse action before, but not from Pagani Design. This is definitely the worst Pagani Design I've ever had when it comes to bezel action. At least it lines up. The sunburst dial has a nice color that matches the bezel, has applied lume indices, has the Pagani Design name and logo printed on, then it says automatic water resistant and the depth rating. I don't know why it has to say water resistant and give the depth rating. One would imply the other. And this, like most Pagani Designs, is 10 bars or 100 meters. It has the Rolex style hands with the Mercedes hour hand and the lollipop second hand. If you look at them though, they look a little short for the dial. I have a feeling that they reused the hands from the 40mm version instead of giving it larger hands. It's not too bad because the dial isn't too much bigger, but it would have been nice if they extended to the minute tracks. The date is at the 3 o'clock. And the Cyclops does a pretty good job of magnifying. And once again, though, we have a little reflection issue. This reflection, though, is because of my office light. And it's not quite as bad as the reflection of the GMT root beer I reviewed last week. It has a signed screw-down crown. And it pops nicely when you unscrew it. You can really feel the pop. And it's got good thread action. When you push it in to rethread it, it goes in really smooth. And the crown is large enough that these crown guards don't get in the way. Has a solid stainless steel case with polished edges and brushed tops and bottoms. Has a sapphire crystal. There's no mention of AR coating. It does a pretty good job of not reflecting the light, so it might have something. You can see through it nicely. The display screw-down case back shows off the Miyota 8215 movement. Did I say Miyota 8215? I was quite surprised that it was the Miyota instead of the usual NH35, which is in all other Pagani designs I've reviewed other than the GMTs. The ad in the AliExpress store said NH35, so I was expecting an NH35. Like the NH35, they stuck with the stock rotor. The Miyota movement doesn't look any nicer than an NH35. There really isn't much to see other than the escapement wheel spinning. Unlike the NH35, the Miyota winds in one direction, so it spins freely in the other direction. Some people really complain about the noises of a spinning unidirectional rotor. I've never been bothered by it. Watch hand winds, but unlike the NH35, it does not hack. It doesn't back hack either, so you can forget about setting it precisely. The watch is running 5 seconds fast, which is good. Usually it is better to be a little fast and a little slow, but on a non-hacking watch it really doesn't matter. The bracelet has solid end links. The end links are not inverted, which adds to the size of this large watch. 21mm leg width is going to limit strap options. A watch this large should have had 22mm. These shellfish style links are single links meant to look like 3-link. Brush links with polished sides. Thankfully the center links aren't polished. I really don't like the looks of polished center links on a diver watch. The adjustment links have screw pins, and it came with a little screwdriver, which made it really easy to adjust the watch. I had to remove 2 links to fit on my 7.5-inch wrist. Plus I moved it in 1 micro adjust. The clasp looks like a Rolex clasp, but it does not have the glide lock system like a Submariner, but it does have the easy link system like most Rolex clasps. So you do need a tool though to change the micro adjust slots. The way the easy link works is you pull it out and then it will extend the watch another 2 to 3 millimeters, and then you can get a tool in there to adjust it with the micro adjust slots. So basically it lets you extend the watch just a little bit if you needed, but it's not completely, you cannot bring it in any farther. This one was really tight. When I first used the Easy Link, I was afraid I was going to break it because it took a lot of pressure to pull it out, and it takes a lot of pressure to put it back in. The clasp, if you look at it, the inners here are not polished or brushed very well. It looks like it's unfinished, which was kind of surprising. Usually a clasp like this, if the rest of it's polished, the inside would be polished also. Here's the watch on my 7.5-inch wrist. I'm not going to show it to you on any other straps because I don't own any 21mm straps. Once again, it would have been nice if it was either 20 or 22. But this is a big watch, but I can pull it off because I have a 7.5-inch wrist. I think you'll be fine as long as you have at least a 7. If your wrist is much smaller than the 7 though, I'd go for the 40mm version. Here we are in the Lume Room. We're going to do a side-by-side comparison with my Heimdallr Monster. This Heimdallr has the best lume of any watch I own, so we'll just see how it compares. We're going to run this for a good 10 minutes here. As you can see, the Pagani Design has really good hand loom. Not quite as good as the Heimdallr, but it's good hand loom. But the index loom is not very good at all. But at least the hand loom is better than the index loom. It's kind of pointless if it's in the opposite, where the index loom is better than the hand loom. What do I like about this watch? Well, I really like the deep emerald color. I think it really looks nice, looks sharp. It really nailed the look of this watch. Plus, I like the ceramic bezel. Ceramic bezels just look so cool. And it's got really nice brushwork. The links and the tops and the bottoms of the case. Looks really nice. And the 43mm size is cool if you like a bigger watch. Some people complain that a sub's just a hair small. So if you think a sub is just a hair small, this one might do the trick. What are my gripes and groans? Well, weak bezel action is not up to other Pagani Design watches I reviewed. Then the 21mm lug width is going to really limit your strap options. And it really kind of blew my mind that there was a Miyota 8215 in here when they advertised an NH35. Do I recommend this watch? Well, that depends on how important hacking is to you. I'm over the hacking thing, but I understand to some people it's very important, which explains why the NH35 is used so much more than the 8215. It would have been nice if they had advertised the Miyota. If you're cool with the movement, I recommend this watch, despite the crappy bezel action. But if you do want a 43mm watch and don't care if it's on a rubber strap, I think the Pagani Design PD-1639 is a better watch, but that looks more like a sea dweller than a sub. Well, thank you for watching my review, and I will be back with another review or unboxing. Be sure and like and subscribe to my channel. Bye.